What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a pre-market update on Lucid, go over some of the data points, what's been coming out from the company as of late, and go over where I see things going in the short term. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 1.14%. No real abnormal transactions. It does look like it is piggybacking off of the broader indexes, which so far the futures are green. And it's kind of weird. So technically, a lot of institutions have been coming out publicly and saying that, you know what, this whole rally is exhausted and that potentially a lot of people's mentality about the Feds cutting their rates sooner rather than later is flawed, but yet the market continues to go up. So I think it's one of those kind of scenarios where a lot of institutions have not actually bought yet. So this is where you won't see a lot of positive analyst ratings or positivity in the broader market. So most likely over the next several weeks, you are going to see a lot of institutions buy into a lot of these deep discounted equities such as Lucid, and then causing the stock price to go up. And then, yeah, it'll be a pretty good domino effect because then randomly you will start to see a lot more positive analyst ratings. There was two that did come out yesterday, one of which was from John Murphy, Bank of America. They did reiterate their $7 price target. And oddly enough, I think their last rating was done about 2 weeks ago, but you do see Stefan 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗧, who does have a 37% success rating from Stifel, $5 price target, and they did initiate coverage, so brand new rating. So not too bad. It's a lot better than CFRA and also, I guess, Adam Jonas. But once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I have been monitoring, it might be a little bit more premature, but I have been monitoring what analysts have been kind of doing for the upcoming Q4 earnings. And as of late, you can kind of see, looking at the earnings per share, it does look like 3 analysts did jump off, and those analysts were very bearish. So that's kind of a good thing because it went from -34 to -31 cents for that, and on revenue it went from 8 to 9. And so it looks like one very bearish analyst jumped on board for the Q4 revenue, giving an estimate. So once again, just be aware that the only latest update that has come out as of late was yesterday, where Lucid did announce that them and SiriusXM Canada is going to be introduced, I guess, across the lineup within Canada. In my opinion, I don't really like this because as far as I'm aware, like every single vehicle has this. Maybe a small handful of vehicles don't. But regardless, I don't really see this as anything or a reason to go out and buy Lucid. So still hats off to Lucid for putting out PR, because even if you look back, like they don't really put out too much PR. So December the 5th, obviously there was a lot for them to talk on, but prior to that it was November, and then beginning of November, like they don't really put out that much PR. So hats off to them for at least attempting when it comes down to this. But I'll give you a quick overview of what shorts are doing pre-market and everything else you need to know. So starting off, shorts are increasing 840,000 shares. So this could get very interesting, especially considering looking at the Interactive Broker short availability does indicate that there's only 90,000 shares available to be shorted. So most likely shorts are kind of piggybacking off of the mentality of institutions and not really seeing any of these rallies justify it. So they are doubling down with Lucid and probably overextending themselves, which could work in retail's favor or just Lucid's favor overall. But quickly going back over to this, so like I said, it's 840.76 thousand shares are being increased, 28.73% of the free floats being shorted, 254.54 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 17.64%, so not necessarily the highest. So kind of interesting stuff when it comes down to that. Oddly, because of the rally that happened yesterday, looking at options, it was kind of positive. So 1.38 million in calls being purchased versus 1.42 in puts. So kind of evenly divided. And if you compare it to, for instance, even the last 7 days, a lot more optimism. So $4.77 million in calls being purchased over the last 7 days versus 36 in puts. So of course, looking at the 1 day, it's a lot more optimistic than the last 7. So that's kind of a good thing overall. Looking at some of the specific call options that was purchased yesterday, you do see a lot of orientation around the $5 mark. So a lot of people are under the impression that it's going to be above $5 by the end of next week. And looking at puts, you do see it kind of below $4.50 by the end of next week. So even in their case, they see more upside coming. So kind of interesting stuff when it comes down to that. And with the technical, so it closing at $4.40 yesterday, it is between this P and this R1. So $4.23, it's going to be that next strong support to watch from here on out. And then $4.70, it's going to be that next strong resistance. And of course, aside from that, you can kind of see the other support and resistance points. But I do feel with the ADP, or sorry, the non-farm payroll coming out on Friday, that could be another reason for the market to rally and potentially push it above this 470, because as it stands, I don't think the market has enough for it to break past that. Similar to yesterday, it had a high of $4.71, so it kind of did bounce off of that. So I don't see right now, given the circumstances, it having enough to break above that. But like I said, with Friday's data, it could push it higher and maybe even into the 5s, but that might be a little bit more premature. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And also, what's your thoughts on pre-market Lucid videos versus more so in the middle of the day? What's your kind of thoughts on that? Just trying to switch things up. Clearly, as you can kind of tell, I did some merged EV videos a couple days back. People didn't really like that. So yeah, trying something new. Let me know your thoughts. And one final thing, as I always say, take advantage of this promo with Moomoo. Just sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.